So let us prepare ourselves. If you put your hand over your eyes, I open my eyes to see the spiritual truth today. And your ears, I open my ears to hear the spiritual truth today. Now just over your heart and extend your arms. I open my heart to receive the spiritual truth today. The spiritual truth that I'm working with today is that form follows thought. Form follows thought. Say that with me. Form follows thought. So if you were under the impression that your thoughts were following the form that is out there, you're $1 a day late and $1 short. Because take, for instance, somebody hurt your feelings. And you think it's something that they said that hurt your feelings. But in truth, what happened was you got re-stimulated. Something was already in your thought process. You already believed something that they said, and you agreed with it, and that's what hurt your feelings. Form always follows thought. Now, it doesn't mean that something out there can't happen to you. But what it does mean is that everything out there that is happening to you that is of any consequence to your heart or your mind was already inside of you. So things are going to happen to us. Things are going to hurt our feelings, and maybe even out there something was said that was so grievous that it was the first time you heard it, but something inside of you had to agree with it in order for it to become painful for you in your life. Maybe you lost a job out there, but inside you can be agreeing with the conscious part of you that says, I am an abundant person. Maybe out there somebody dumped you, but inside you can be agreeing that you are surrounded in love. Maybe out there your parents didn't agree with your job choice, but inside you're understanding that you're living a life of freedom. Everything that happens out there is a reflection of what's inside of you. Maybe out there you spent a little time having lost your sobriety, but inside you remained committed to living a life of sane and happy usefulness. And you went forward from that part, from what was inside of you, not what was happening outside of you. Now look, we can follow the pity party down. When something happens to us, we can follow the pity party train right into victimhood, and we can stay locked there. Or we can be mindful that we are attached to the greatest power in the universe that is available to us, and turn what happened to us into a victory in our lives. But it happens from our being willing to separate ourselves from what looks like on the outside. And you know what? That's not easy. Actually, that's not easy at all. Because we as a human species have been programmed over the years to sort of get all wrapped up in tragedies. Newspapers say, if it bleeds, it leads. And the reason that they say that is because they know that's what sells. What sells is us looking at people's tragedies and being all interested in them. And why? Because we think it makes us feel better about ourselves. If somebody else is having a worse tragic life than I am, then I'm not so bad. I'm not in such a bad place. But when we come to centers like this, and we really begin to understand the spiritual principles behind them, we know that we're spiritual beings living a spiritual life governed by spiritual laws, having a human experience. And we don't need anybody else's life to be tragic in order to feel good. We can just feel good, and not only can we feel good, we can spend some time uplifting those people who are in tragedy instead of trying to enjoy what's happening to them. But you know what? That takes work. It takes work. And we're in the middle of being miracle makers here at this church. We're in week 5 of a series we're doing to say, you know what? I not only want to know about the spiritual principles that allow me to live an inside-out life, but I want to be able to work with them in my life. I want to stop reacting to everything that's going on around me, whether it's coming through a telephone call of my family, or whether it's coming through the newspaper, or whether it's coming through, a meeting I had with my boss. I want to stop reacting to all that. I want to start learning how to come from inside out. And when I do that, I will naturally become a miracle maker in my life. We are working with a book called The 12 Conditions of a Miracle by a man named Michael Abrams. And what he did was he took a very small miracle that is in all 4 of the Gospels of the Bible. It's the miracle of loaves and fishes. And what he did was he was to look at that miracle and think, you know what? Inside that miracle are 12 conditions that exist. I'm going to decode those 12 conditions, and then I'm going to start living my life from an understanding of how they work in my life. So we started out looking at the gospel according to Matthew. We went on to Mark, then to Luke, and now we're at the final one. Next time we'll be hearing the Gospel of Georgia, but at this time we're going to... You think I'm kidding? No, you come back here. I'm not kidding. We're going to go from chapter 6 in John to verse 3. So Jesus went up to the mountain, and he sat there with his disciples, and the feast of the Passover of the Jews was at hand. And Jesus lifted up his eyes and saw a large crowd coming to him, and he said to Philip, "Where can we buy bread that all of these may eat?" He said this merely to test them, for he knew what he would do. Philip said to him, 200 pennies worth of bread would not be sufficient for them, even if each one should take only a little. One of the disciples, Andrew, the brother of Simon Peter, said to him, "There is a boy here who has with him 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. But what are we to do for all of these men?" Jesus said to them, "Make all the men sit down, for there is so much grass in this place." So the men sat down, 5,000 in number. And Jesus took the bread and blessed it and distributed it to those who were sitting down, likewise the fish also, as much as they wanted. And when they were filled, he said to his disciples, "Gather up the broken pieces which are left over, so that nothing is lost." And they gathered them up and filled 12 baskets with broken pieces which were left over by those who ate from the 5 barley loaves. So that is the miracle. Now, we've looked at the conditions of this miracle, and we started out with emptying, getting rid of all your preconceived notions. Just be an empty vessel for spiritual truth that can come in. The second one was aligning with compassion. The third one is learning how to ask. Learning how to ask. Such a beautiful example of what Prem did. It's learning how to ask, maximizing, taking what little you have and making it bigger. The next one was giving, and the last one we looked at was grounding, being grounded on here. Today we're looking at number 7, which is to visualize. To visualize. Jesus takes the bread, and in the other Gospels it says he lifts him up. He lifts it up to the heavens. From the Greek, the term lifting up from the heaven means to restore the vision. That's what the translation is. Lifting up to the heaven is restoring the vision. And that's what Jesus did. See, he took a little bit of what he had, but he saw it. He saw it as more as he lifted it up to the heavens. That's what you and I need to do in order to be able to create a life that is growing, a growing life, growing on our green edge, as Mary Morrissey would say. In order to create that life, we have to see it at the end of each of our dreams that we're going through. Now, some of you have not seen The Secret, the movie, because it's out so long ago. I want you to see that movie. Everybody in this church should be seeing that movie at least once every 5 years. And the purpose is because it continues to make a case for the power of visualizing in our life. Now, that's different from visioning. We're talking about visualizing. We're actually talking about seeing something at the end of the journey that you want to have. Begin today. Build a dream. If you don't have a dream, everybody in this church should have at least one dream active, going all the time. If you don't have a dream, see a practitioner and just walk up to him and say, you know what, I don't have a dream. Because everybody needs to be able to have a dream in order to be able to make life grow. It doesn't matter whether it's a material dream. A lot of times people think when we talk about visualizing, we're talking about materiality. Now look, we want you to have all the material stuff you want in this church. We are not a church that believes that poverty is sacred. We want you to have all the stuff you want. You want a new car? That's right. That's right. You want a new car? We want you to have a new car. You see a new golf club? We want you to have that too. Okay? We want you to have all of it. Okay? But don't get turned off if you're like one of those people, oh, this is so materialistic. Blah, blah, blah. That's not all we're talking about. We're also talking about your emotions, your spirituality. We want all of you, we want you to have dreams in all of that. Maybe your dream is to have a better marriage. Maybe your dream is to have a deeper connection with your siblings who are adults and live across the country. Whatever it is your dream is, we want you to have a dream about it. And not only to have a dream, but then to begin to see it. To see it as fabulous as you want it to happen in your life. You know, when people say to me, you know what, I have everything I need. Everything I need. I rarely believe them. When they say I have everything I want, I rarely believe them. Because I think what they're saying is, I have everything I think I could get. And life is really great. Now that's fabulous. That's fabulous. If life is great for you, we want you to be happy about that. We want you to be saying how great your life is all of the time. But do not make that an enemy of better. Do not make great an enemy of what could come for you. Because we're always growing. Ernest Holmes said, we're always spiraling upward. But you can't spiral upward without some kind of a dream. You know, some people think, well, the only way I get lessons in this life is if a calamity happens. That's like not right. That's my Sunday word for that. That's just not right. To think you have to have a calamity in order to change. Now look, that is God's fallback method. God doesn't want you to be a spiritual couch potato, so it is a fallback method. If you don't move along, if you're stuck and you're happy being stuck, and oh, life's good, and I'm good enough. I'm just good enough. No, there's no good enough. Hallelujah. No good enough. And so if you're in that place, well, God will help you out, but you don't have to be there. See? Reverend Dr. Michael says you can either be pulled by a vision or pushed by circumstance. And you and I, we get pushed by circumstance because we let it go too long. But if you have a dream, and the dream is active, and you know what it is, and you keep it alive in you, that's how you can grow every bit as good. Esther Hicks says, Esther and Jerry Hicks, they say, when you have a vision, pay attention to how good you're feeling. Pay attention to how good you're feeling. Because when you're feeling good, that's when stuff becomes attractive to you. See, we've made a mistake in metaphysics. We think that it's all about change your thinking, change your life. That's true, but what it is change your thinking, change your heart, and your life will change. See? What happens is we are attracting through our vibration, but our thought governs our vibration. So when we are having a vision, a dream, and we feel good, and we don't get all bogged up in how is that going to happen? You know, not to belabor Prim, but it's such a great story for me. See, she wasn't worried. Does he have a Doberman? I don't know. What's he got out there? I don't know. What? I want to do this, but what? Don't worry about that. You just do it. If it feels like the next thing that your dream is calling you to do, you keep it alive in that way. Sometimes we need stuff to keep our dreams alive. You know, sometimes maybe you want adventure in your life. And a plane ticket is what will give you adventure. Don't be afraid to dream all those dreams and not worry about how they come out. All right, number 8. Number 7, just to review, is visualize. Different than visioning, visualize. See the picture and make it clear. Number 8 is gratitude. When things are good, say thank you. When things are bad, say thank you 2 times. Because gratitude is causal. Gratitude is a sign. In many of the Gospels, he raised up the little bread and he said to the heavens, thank you. Because Jesus knows gratitude is causal in our life. So you can't hold 2 thoughts simultaneously. You can't be mad about something and open. See, gratitude is a sign that you're open to the universe. You're not pinched up and all closed up and stopped. You're open to the universe. And when we create that, see, we're always creating. We're always creating. You can either create a pinched, kind of limited experience, or you can create an open experience. The choice is ours, and gratitude will enable you to have an open experience. The other kind of gratitude I want to talk about this morning is what I call dodge the bullet gratitude. Have you ever had any of that? Oh, geez. Oh, thank you, God. I dodged that bullet. See? Dodge the bullet gratitude is very powerful stuff. And if we are aware of it, when it happens, we can use it to shift our consciousness and change our life. There's a story of a woman I had in one of my foundations class, and she was studying to be a photographer, but she was something else by day. And so during the weekend, she went out to take pictures, and she was infatuated with trains and train trestles and I don't know what else, something about trains. And so somebody told her where a beautiful train trestle was and that she could go out on the train trestle and she would be safe because the train only came once a week or so, and it was very loud. You could hear it way away. She was totally safe. She'd have plenty of time to get off the track if she needed to. She's snapping away, snapping away, snapping away. Now, I don't know whether the person hadn't told her the truth or maybe she was just, been so engrossed in things, you don't know, you can't hear stuff going on. You just, well, anyway, she looks up, and here comes the train pretty quickly down the track. So she beats cheeks back to the edge of the thing, and she makes it. And by the grace of God, she's there. She's done. She's happy. And she's saying, thank God. She had dodged the bullet gratitude. And when she had dodged the bullet gratitude, she went home and she said, you know what? Life is short. Life is short. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to become a photographer. She sold some stuff. She started traveling in Europe and in Indonesia and became a great photographer. Dodge the bullet. Very important gratitude. All right, number 9 is act as if. Act as if. Those of you in recovery already know this. We know that we had to act as if we could live a whole day without a drink. We had to act as if we could actually go to a party and look like we knew what we were doing without alcohol inside of us. We got that. Some of you have had to act as if you like a mother-in-law or a father-in-law. You had to act as if that. Acting as if is really, really important. Some of you had to act as if you like your job when you go to work. So we get act as if. We already know how to do that. Now what we're doing is taking that concept and using it in a spiritual context. And when we do, what we say is we're going to have the vision, we're going to see the dream, and now we're going to act as if it already had come to pass. We're going to walk around. We want a job. We're going to walk around now dressed as if we're going to that job. We're going to get up at the time that I would get up. If I had that job, I'd be getting up at this point in the day and what I would be doing to prepare myself for that job. What we don't want to do, and you can do this in everything, you know, you can do this in every relationship in your life. What you don't want to do is start acting as if you have money that you don't actually have. And I say that because I know that a lot of metaphysicians get in trouble with this. Oh, well, you know, I have faith. I have faith. We want you to have the money before you try and spend it. Don't put on a lot of credit cards. You know, go to Macy's for Mother's Day. But if you don't have the money, look at all the stuff if you like, and then make a nice card for your mother. That'll be just as good. You know, don't spend money. You know, you want to drive a Lamborghini, go and look at it and sit in it and leave your credit card and your checkbook at home. Don't spend money. You know, we've elevated this wisdom from Hollywood to kind of a crazy image. You know, many of you have heard the movie Just Build It and They Will Come. You know, and so we've applied that to our lives, you know, just spend it and the money will come. And first of all, get your spiritual wisdom here, okay, or somewhere close to like this instead of Hollywood, because it's a movie. See, that's a movie. The second thing is, it's not what the movie said. It did not say, build it and they will come. If you go back and look at the movie, it said, build it and he will come. And he's talking about his Father. So we want to be careful, because I see a lot of people getting in trouble behind the metaphysics of this particular concept. So if you have the money, we want you to spend it. We want you to spend it, keep it circulating, enjoy it. That's what money's for. It's for freedom. But make sure that you have it before you spend it. Acting as if. 16 years ago, I started this church. I started this church by begging 12 of my friends from Santa Rosa to drive over here, because I did not want to preach my maiden sermon to an empty room. And so I made them come. I didn't know a soul when I moved over here, not one person. And so then I also took 100 flyers every single day for 7 days, and I put them in the seat next to me, actually 5 days, in the seat next to me. And I did not go home until I got rid of those 700 flyers that I put around buildings in that area. I went to every door and I knocked on it. I introduced myself. Chihuahua almost got me, but I prevailed. I was faster in those days. It was 16 years ago. So when it came time to, yes, thank you. So when it came time to start the first church service, I had 24 people. I had 12 from Santa Rosa, and I had 12 from the flyers, 700 flyers or 500 flyers, 12 people, not too bad. And but here's what I did. I acted as if. I acted as if that church, that first day, was as successful as we are right now. I preached at the very last row. Some of us in this room need to start acting as if our marriages are fabulous marriages. Some of us in this room need to start acting like our jobs are very fulfilling in our lives. Some of us in this room need to start acting as if we really like ourselves. Acting as if is a powerful spiritual principle, and it's one of the ways that we can become miracle workers in our life. Now look, don't come here and just hear this stuff. Come here and hear it and begin to work with it in your life. Begin to, go home today and say, what is my dream? What am I visualizing in my life? How grateful am I every single day? How can I act as if today in some area of my life that I want improved? And I promise you, your life will be so much better. And if you work with it long enough, you'll become a miracle worker in your life and in the life of this community. So let's take this message into prayer. Knowing that we're in the heart and the mind and the very Spirit of God. That one love, that one heart that is within us, that moves through us, causing us to create an atmosphere around us that is one of joy and compassion and love and adventure and creativity. I give thanks for that. I release this word into the law, and together we say, and so it is.